Hey guys, welcome back. Well, today I want to kind of talk about how I'm getting ready for the processor to show up, and what's all that's going to take, and how busy I'm going to be. But you know, so like I said, I'm getting stuff ready for the boiler, for the kiln. But before we kind of get into that, I kind of wanted to do a few shout outs here to a couple other channels that I'm sure a lot of you guys watch, and if you don't, you should follow them and watch them as well. But the first one I want to talk about is Twin City Firewood. He recently gave me a shout out, and I've been watching him for a while now, and he's a firewood guy, and he also works for the electric company out there, but he's a really good dude. I enjoy watching him, and he's just a nice guy. You could tell he's a real genuine family man. So I enjoy watching him. So if some of you guys are not subscribed to him, you should subscribe to Twin City Firewood. He's got some good stuff there. So and just an overall good guy there. So, but I enjoy watching him. So I figure you guys would too. If you're not subscribed to him, subscribe to him. Next one I would do is Homestead J. I'm sure a lot of you guys follow him. He's a fellow boiler guy, firewood guy, and then just recently, you know, he's doing a lot more trees and stuff like that. So same kind of thing. He's a good family man. He produces a lot of good content. I originally found him through like boiler videos, of course, because obviously I have a lot with my Heatmaster, and he has a CL6 something like that, because I remember him saying that in a lot of his videos. But he's got a lot of good stuff there, a lot of good content, a lot of stuff you can learn there. So I figure I'd give him a shout out. It's a possibility that him and I may do a live stream, getting probably closer to winter, regarding our boilers. So we may do a couple, maybe a series on them. I'm not sure. We've talked about it. We haven't really locked in or fine-tuned if we're going to do it, if not. I think we should, just because he has a traditional outdoor boiler where I have a gas vacation, so we can kind of talk pros and cons with them and our experiences, you know, to startup, to shutdown, to wood consumption, to how much reheating. I think it'd be a good series, and if you guys want to see that or have us talk about that, you know, comment down below. You can also reach out to Homestead J there. I will tag him in this video. So just an idea. I think it would be a good series though. So and then the third one would be Oak Farm Firewood. He's out in the UK. He's a pretty big time firewood producer. He does a lot of kindling, but they do little things different out there than we do in the US. You know, with some things, how they do them, machines they have and whatnot, but we're pretty similar to, you know, producing wood, obviously, and we've been in contact. You know, I like his content. He seems like a good dude. He's got a wood kiln that he produces firewood, dries it in there, and with his kindling and his boiler fuel and stuff like that. So we've been talking about, and we'll probably do it here soon. Been doing a live feed together. He's in the UK, so obviously there's a huge time difference. You know, talking about our setups, how I run things here versus how he does it, wood size to split size, to his kindling business, to his processing stuff that he has, his kiln setup, the drying times. There'd be a lot to talk about, and I think it'd be pretty interesting to put my view and his view and our experiences in, you know, combined heads and talk about what we got going on. So yet again, that's Oak Farm Firewood. He's out in the UK. He's got some really good content as well. So if you're not subscribed to him, subscribe to him. I enjoy his stuff, and he's been producing a lot more content recently. So yeah, reach out to him. He's another good guy there. And so yeah, those are the three I'd like to mention there, and those are the ones I regularly watch on my own free time, which is very rare, but I do watch them. Those are the pretty steady ones. There's a bunch of other guys I do watch as well, but I really enjoy those three. It's the first time I've ever shot out anybody. I'm not one to do that, but those are the ones I really like, and those are the ones I wouldn't mind meeting and hanging out with and so on. So yeah, that's just my thought there. So getting kind of back on track here. So today's Tuesday at the moment. After I get done making this video, I'm gonna follow up with brute force to see what the status is on the processor. I'm really hoping I get it shortly, because we're getting towards the end of August here, and I need to really be making wood, a lot of wood. And when I say a lot of wood, I mean like, holy shit, that's a lot of wood. Every day, all day, that's what I'm gonna be doing. Kiln's gonna be running non-stop. Wood in, wood out, deliveries down the road. I mean, I do have a lot of wood that I have been delivering that's ready to go, but my orders this year are tenfold, so I need that. I need the logs coming in and so on. So there's a lot going on. So that's kind of why I've kind of staged here, a couple totes just thrown in. These three here on the outside is seasoned wood. This is ash that I cut down on my own property here. That's pretty wet, but she burns no problem in the boiler. So I'm kind of getting fuel ready to go for the boiler for when the kiln's running. I mean, this is a lot of wood for, I don't know how many loads that'll be. I mean, this wood here will last a long time. So, but I wanted stuff to be kind of staged and ready to go, so I can be making wood and this and that, not having to go find wood that I need to burn, even though I have a lot of it for myself. But I'm trying to keep a lot of my good wood for the winter time. But you know, money is money, and the time to make it is now. So, but as you can see, I finally picked up a pallet jack there. Let me tell you what, that was, to get one of those, I had to jump through I don't know how many hoops. Nobody would respond when I would try to purchase one. But I found a guy, it's kind of a cool story. I found a guy who was selling one. He had a couple of them for whatever reason. He has a huge property with a huge pole barn that he stores a bunch of stuff. But anyways, so I went there. It's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And we're chatting, we loaded up. I grab it, it works obviously. And I noticed he had a stack coming out of his pole barn, so I'm like, oh, he burned wood in there? I mean, a huge building though. Huge, I don't even know how big it was. It was like a huge industrial, like warehouse building it looked like, but it was on his property. And he's like, yeah, I got a boiler in there. I'm like, oh yeah, what do you got? And he kind of didn't really know the name, and I'm like, yeah, I got one, you know, I got a Heatmaster G10000. He's like, oh yeah, I got the same brand. It's a smaller one though. I'm like, oh yeah, let's take a look at it, because he said he was having an issue with it. And I was like, well, I'm pretty knowledgeable, so let's go look at it. Well, come to find out, it's not a Heatmaster, it was a Woodmaster. So it was a gasification unit, so I kind of looked at it. Obviously the setup was a little different, because he had some buildup or something, like creosote in one area. And so I was trying to like diagnose why he would have that, and I was talking to him about it. So it was pretty interesting talking about his boiler setup and whatnot. So I tried to help him. I looked at his wood that he had ready for this winter, and some really big pieces and so on. So yeah, we just talked about it and whatnot. But it's a pretty cool story. I always seem to find whenever I buy something or go do a tree job, we're just sitting there talking for hours. So, but that's life. There's some good people around here. So, so yeah, no, having the pallet jack is huge. I can really get these totes where I really need them, and I'm going to be using that in the kiln, so I can really I should be able to get 8 totes in there lengthwise, so the long ways straight back, so I can really crank out the wood, because as soon as it goes in, it's probably already sold. So I mean, I know it's already sold, and just keep it going non-stop. And then if I finally catch up, which I really hope I get this thing soon, I need to be making wood. I'm just going to pile it up in that garage. I'm going to double, triple stack them if I have to, so I know they're ready to go. So I'm trying to get my ducks in a row here for when the processor shows up, because as soon as I get it that day or the next day, she's getting put to work. So intermixed with me doing trees, I'm still doing storm damage. Like tomorrow, I'm doing it's a silver maple, about 20 feet up, a pretty good sized limb snapped. It's probably 40 feet long, resting into their next silver maple tree, which is right above their home line, their power line. So our power company around here, they're actually going to drop that line for us so we can work in there. But it's a pretty sketchy one because it's a pretty big limb, and it's hard to tell like what's really holding it up still. The more and more I looked at it a few weeks ago, it's one of those. It'll kill you if you really don't know what you're doing. So I was pretty adamant about them getting that line removed because I was the last thing I want to do is rip that off the house. And obviously worse things can happen. So that's what I got going on first thing in the morning tomorrow. And of course, it's going to be the hottest day of the year here. It's going to be in the hundreds, so that's going to be fantastic. I mean, today is in the 80s and I'm just drenched working here. So, but yeah, so no, I still have a ton of jobs lined up for trees. But when I'm not doing that, I'm going to be here making wood. I mean, you're going to look over here. This is kind of where I think all the split wood's going to go. It should be as high as I can push it with the tractor. And then I'll bring a ton of totes in here, stack them in there so I legitimately get a face cord in there. I've contemplated just, you know, having it dump into a tote kind of just thrown in like this. The only reason I don't like doing that is because I really don't know how much wood is in there. I do have a lot of big orders every year, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 full cords of wood. But I do sell a lot of just face cords, you know, maybe a face here, 2 face there, which is 1/3 of a cord or 2/3 of a cord. So I kind of, the whole thing is I don't want to have to keep touching wood and throwing it in the trailer. I want it to be exact every time. So every time there's a reason why I keep the same customers every year to keep buying from me. They like the split size. Quantity is the same. You're not short this year. You don't get more there. So consistency for me and quality of the wood is a big part of my business, and that's why I retain my customers and I keep growing every year. So that's why I don't think I'll just process it right into the tote. I know it would save me a lot of time. I may change my mind down the road. I don't know. We'll see. Because I know pushing it over here and then stacking, and it's going to take hours, right? But like I said, my model is pretty straightforward, so that's why I may do that. We'll see. I don't know. I may have to hire some high school kids or something to stack in the totes. We'll see. My 2- and 4-year-old I don't think could produce enough that would make me happy. So, but we'll see. I don't know. Depends. I mean, even if I stack it late at night when I'm in the shade for a couple hours, I got lights, I can do it. I don't care. Because now is the time to be busy and making money and getting stuff ready and getting the wood for these customers that most of my customers, they don't just burn it outside or aesthetics. These are people that actually heat their home in the winter. So I take pride in what I do because we heat for our obviously to heat our house and shops and whatnot. So when these people rely on it, I want to make sure I take care of my customers. So yeah, today is just kind of a video of getting ready. Hopefully within the next few days, hopefully I have the processor, because I'm kind of getting irritated that I don't have it yet, but it is what it is. They're making it. So I know we've had all these shows going on with like Firewood and the tree industry kind of deal, so I get it. Everyone's busy. But I think we're a little past due, like the due date that it was expected. But, I get it. I know how things work. You're waiting on parts and this and that. So, like I said, I'm going to give them a call today, probably right after this, to see what the ETA is. Because they're going to be taking this one. I get the new one. Da-da-da-da. So, but yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to go over today. And obviously, we're only kind of towards the end of August here, but anyone who burns and whatnot, it's getting time. A lot of customers, they wait to the last minute to get their wood. Don't do that. Just don't do that, because everyone's busy, right? And then, because closer to October-ish, I'll get 10, 15 calls a day for wood. And I don't care who you are, unless you got multiple crews delivering wood. It's hard to give you that, to schedule that, to do that, and how people are. They want that instant gratification. So if you want, wood, get it early. I know a lot of people like, oh, I got to stack it here. I don't want to look at it. Well, that's too bad. So I tell people, like last year I had all this concrete work done here. I had all my customers get their wood early. August, I was delivering wood right now, a lot of wood. August, September, and I think at the end of September I was done. I was sold out. And I was excited about that because I didn't have to be driving around when it's super cold in the snow and the rain. But just be proactive and get your wood early, because it's better for everybody. It just is. You have your wood, you're good to go. You don't have to worry about it if that's your heat source or whatever, you know, a supplemental. And the closer to winter, some people raise their prices, and if you don't want to pay a premium, get it now. And they'll thank you for it. They may do a little extra for you. I mean, I do sometimes too, you know, and it goes a long way. So, but yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you today. Sorry there's no action going on, but trust me, there's going to be a lot coming forward here. A lot of wood's going to be made. I mean a lot. I mean, this is 2 full cords I got going out this week. I mean, you can tell there's ash, there's some cherry, there's a little bit of oak in here, there's a lot of elm, sugar maples in there as well, but all good stuff. So, like I said, I'm trying to prepare. I mean, I got all my equipment ready to go for tomorrow. I got the chipper, the truck, the lifts in there. So just trying to get everything ready. I mean, there's a lot for me to do, but like I did 5 quotes this morning for trees, and I got to send a bunch of quotes. You know, son's first day of school today. A lot going on. So, yeah. Well, I guess another thing is, if any of you guys are local to somewhat Milwaukee area and you got any kids who want to work, I got work for them. So just to throw that out there, it's hard to find good people that want to work. It wouldn't be dangerous. It'd just be stacking wood. So you could always reach out to me. But yeah, leave a comment down below if you guys do burn wood, and when you guys get your wood, your quantities, what do you burn with? I'm curious to know. Who do I have watching here? So I always like to know. But yeah, as always, keep burning.